Steven, I'm running away from a bunch of angry Philly fans who say that I need to give the ball to a kid. I'm trying to give it to the kid. The kid's just not in the seat. They don't believe me.
Steven, did we almost get into a fight with all of the stands in the outfield yesterday at the Phillies game, at the Take Me Out to the Ball Game Frono's Photo special event only for employees?
I'd say just about every grown-ass man around us was trying to pounce on you.
And it was my brother's fault, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who said it.
I couldn't tell because all of the chanting was happening where he was sitting. It just didn't make sense. Like, everyone was so mad.
Well, it's the outfield and it's Philly and it's 86 degrees in the sun. People are going to be mad. Some people are mad. Other people are just assholes. And then you got the asshole fans that just do dumb stuff. But yeah, so anyway, we went out to the baseball game. The Phillies had a business person's special, which is their way of saying, basically, when a team comes in from out of town, and this was a short series with an American League team, the Blue Jays, they played one game the night before, and then they have a get out of town day. So they play at 1 o'clock, which means when the game's over, they could fly home and get a little extra rest when they're home. So they do these 1 o'clock games, and there were still over 30-some thousand people that came to the game. Yeah. One, because the Phillies are the best team in the league as of right now. They've been playing great. They went 5-1 on the homestand. But I reached out to Steven a few weeks ago. I was like, "Do you want to go to the Phillies game during the day
and skip work?" No. Yes.
Yeah. And then I asked Dan, and then since Dan has little Dan, I was like, "Do you want to bring little Dan?" And since little Dan's in like kindergarten, you could take the kid out of kindergarten. It's different when they get into like real school and miss days.
Yeah.
But that's like not even missing a day of school.
It's glorified babysitting at that point.
Yeah. So we did a day at the ballpark, met here at the studio, drove down there, got everybody some food to eat. And little Dan got pizza.
Yes.
Little Dan got water ice.
Yes.
Sorry, water ice.
Pronounce it right.
Or the fans might yell at you and complain that you don't know how to speak Philly. Because that's what happens in Philly. You get drunk people in the area. Oh, by the way, hold that thought, Steven. Let me give a quick what we're going to talk about. There was a lot of news going around about this Canon image that was put out that people are like, this is going to be, Canon's teasing something really amazing. We're going to talk about that. Going to talk about what I'll be doing at the Allen's event May 18th at Allen's Camera.
Dunk tank?
And then,
what?
Dunk tank. No dunk tank. But I would look really good in spandex in a dunk tank.
Oh, so now you're thinking about it.
You just want to see that badunk-a-dunk, don't you?
No.
Yes. And then there's articles here from the Met Gala, or as I like to call it, the Gala, where Met Gala, it's Gala or Gala?
I think it's the Met Gala, but there also are galas.
How do you determine the difference between Gala and Gala?
That's a good question. I've always heard it pronounced Met Gala, but...
Well, that's funny, Steven. Mickey Mouse here. I like to call it the Gala, because, I was once in a closet, and now I'm no longer in it. Is he married to Minnie, or is Minnie his sister?
We brought this up before.
We did?
Yes.
Who's Minnie?
I'm pretty sure it's his wife/girlfriend. Whatever.
Oh,
partner.
She's my beard. That's right.
See, Mickey made sense last week because we were talking about Disney, and now you're randomly inserting him in. Because once something works, you repeat it, try and make it work again, and then you overdo it.
I just wanted Stu to laugh. That's it. Stu, that was for you.
Because people know who Stu is. No context.
Stu's my buddy from bowling. He's a professional bowler. Stu Williams. He wins a lot. And by wins a lot, I mean he really doesn't. Sorry, Stu. The facts speak for themselves sometimes.
Burn.
Well, he still averages over 220 or whatever. He's better than me. So we're going to talk about the Met Gala, where it says photographer sparks outrage after racist jokes about a K-pod band. We're going to dive deep into that one.
Not pod.
Oh, yeah. So my eyes deceived me there. But yeah, K-pop band. Yes, my eyes failed. That's right. Jared's eyes suck.
Not funny.
Yeah, anyway, we're gonna dive in deep because DIY Photography and Petapixel decided to do articles about it, and yeah, I got stuff to say about it, and we're gonna talk about it. But let's go back to the ballpark. So what happens at the ballpark, and the reason that my brother got me booed is Nick Castellanos.
I love that it was him.
Nick Castellanos is it. So let me just explain. My brother went to the game too with my dad, a friend of his, and another friend of ours. They bought tickets because I told my brother that, hey, I was looking to go to the business person special, take my crew. He's like, oh, I might as well. I think I should go too. So he brought my dad anyway.
And they were about 2 rows in front of us, just slightly to the right, very close to us.
Yeah, they were only like 5 seats over.
Yeah.
But we were in row 3 in section 104. So if you go and you look up Citizens Bank Ballpark, section 104, row 3, it's a great spot to watch a game because, well, it's a good spot to watch a game. You're in home run territory. But Nick Castellanos plays right field. He's a Philly. And, you know, before each inning, he warms up with the bullpen catcher and they throw the ball, they throw back and forth. And then when it's time for the inning to start, he looks into the stands and he throws a ball to someone as a souvenir.
Typically children, keep that in mind.
Well, typically he throws them to the adults because the children can't catch.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, mind you, like people, there's this thing about should you bring a glove to a game? Now, there's a rule about bringing a glove to a game. It's my brother's rule. If you're over 12, you cannot bring a glove. Period. If you're over 12, you use your hands.
Yeah, that's a
if
good
you're
point.
under 12, you're allowed to have a glove because you're under 12. You're a kid. You need help catching the ball. If you're over 12, no glove for you. Let's just up that to like if you're over 16 and you look like an adult, you don't get to wear a glove. That's cheating. So, first inning, Nick Castellanos, I stand up. Doesn't see me. He throws the ball to someone else. Actually, it was someone with a Nick Castellanos shirt, and that guy like knocked over some little girl because that's what people do. Like, it's a ball. I'm going to get it.
It's like a practice ball. It doesn't mean
anything.
anything.
Next inning comes around. You know, we got little Dan with us. I want to give little Dan a ball because that's what you do. You catch a ball, you give it to the kid.
And Nick now kind of knows you from seeing you with the 4x5 and shooting with the media and everything. So you're easy to spot out. You have a giant purple I Shoot Raw shirt with your afro.
Yeah, you can't mistake me when I wear my uniform to the game like the baseball players, which is, but I wore my Africa pants yesterday. Can I say Africa
those.
pants? Can I say Africa pants, Steven? I can say Africa
They were
pants.
pants
They're the
that
ones
you worn in Africa.
Yeah, Kenya pants. They're really good for hot weather because it was hot. Anyway, so Nick is getting ready, and I stand up, and I put my arms up in the air, and you can't miss me. He sees me, he gives me a head nod, and he throws the ball to me. Now, mind you, I never catch balls. I'm not very good at catching balls. I'm pretty good, depending on what it is. I have slow reactions. I have trouble seeing. My eyes shake, which makes it hard to catch a ball.
Your dad turns around and he's like, the only thing you're good at is catching colds.
Well, yeah, that's what my dad said because he sat in front of us. He didn't even see the ball coming, mind you. So
such a
I
great
stand
quote.
up. The ball hits me right in the left hand. I'm left-handed. I'm supposed to catch with the right hand. But the reason is there's someone next to me and no one to the left of me. So I put my hand up. At least the guy behind me didn't try to steal it. And I caught the ball and then I look to the right and little Dan isn't there.
Also, there were 2 little kids right to the left of you trying to kind of catch it as well.
They weren't trying. Nick threw it right at me. I didn't have to move very far. He nailed me right in the hand.
Yeah, but they got out of their seats and walked over, basically.
Those little kids are assholes. You stay in your seat.
They were hoping for the ball. Let's just say that.
Well, if I dropped it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't want to drop it and be embarrassed in front of Nick. You know, he threw me the ball. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I
You guys
used
are
one
boys
hand.
now.
I grabbed it and I caught it. And then I want to give it to little Dan, except for the fact that Dan and little Dan just went up at the end of the inning to get water ice.
Like a minute prior to this.
And so I look and no one's there and everybody's like, I guess it was my brother, give it to a kid.
Everyone is chanting, give it to a kid.
Like, I'm gonna give it.
I was waiting for an asshole chant. It was
Oh,
bad.
there's a kid. He's here, I swear. And then so thankfully the guy behind us was like, no, really, there's a kid.
We're all trying to defend you. Like, I swear there's a kid there. He just went up to get water ice.
I'm going to give it to the kid.
And then they're all, give it to the kid, Dick.
And so when little Dan came back, I gave it to little Dan. I gave little Dan the baseball.
It was a total Larry David moment because you're just like, there's a kid there. I swear. He just left for a second.
I don't need a baseball.
You're trying
It doesn't
so
mean
hard to
anything.
defend yourself. And meanwhile, the whole time it's your brother egging everybody on. That makes it even better. Because after I'm like, this guy, I wonder if your brother started that.
Yeah.
Because they were aggressive, man. That was gold.
It's because little Dan wasn't there at the
Just
time.
the fact that it happened to you.
But at least I caught the ball.
Yes.
And I didn't look like a dick unless Nick thinks I didn't give it to a kid.
Hey, he threw it right at you too.
He hit me right in the hand. He's a professional.
Yeah.
And I caught it.
He must
and I didn't
practice
catch
a
it cold. Yeah.
But it was hot. It was really hot out that day. 87, sunny, no clouds barely.
How come you didn't buy a beer from Joe? Joe came down.
Yeah, we saw Joe.
Any old school RAWtalk listeners will know Joe. You won't know his voice because he never had a microphone. But Joe
was bending
there.
down, and you're like, "Is that Joe?" I'm like, "I think that is Joe." He stands up and he's like, "Beer here, Jared."
It was like, Joe. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Beer here.
But then, a little before that, there was this beer sales guy.
Yeah, he was weird.
Just think of a hippie with long hair and round glasses.
He looks like what the hell's his name? David Cross from Scary Movie 2.
Just looks weird, is weird. Came down, he was like, beer. And he looks at my shirt and he goes, I shoot raw. And then he looks and he holds his beer to everybody. He's like, I shoot raw here. I shoot raw.
Yeah, he then started like chanting it. And he kept walking up the aisle and he's like, I shoot raw. And I'm like, what is going on? Is this guy on something?
It's a shtick. I think it's more of a shtick. He's trying to get people to pay attention to him so that he can sell more beer. How much was that beer, by the way?
I think it was like $13 for a normal.
$16.
Well, it said 13 and 16.
Oh.
So depending which one you got, yeah, it was expensive. And the guy in front of us, I saw he bought 2 beers and then gave a 18% tip for them just handing him the beer.
They were negotiating tips.
Yeah, he's like, whatever you want. I'm like, I would never say whatever you want.
Problem is, he said whatever you want, but the beer guy said 20% first.
I know.
And then somehow knocked himself down to 18%. What a joke.
I think he said 15, 18, or 20, and he's like, all right, I'll go in the middle, 18%.
I get it, like the convenience of coming to your seat so you didn't have to get up and do anything, but wow.
That ended up being like a $6 tip. The beers alone, man, if you bought one of the 22 ounces, the huge beers, they were $18. Insane. And you got a tip on top of that.
Yeah. Well, I got Dan. So let's talk about what Dan ate. Let's see. So Dan wanted to go to Federal Donuts, which makes really nice chicken sandwiches, and he gets 2 sandwiches. I think he's getting one for little Dan, but no, they're 2 for Dan, as if he's never eaten before. and then we're walking past. Little Dan sees some pizza, and I'm like, that pizza looks terrible. And then little Dan's like, I want pizza. And then we realized the pizza that we were looking at had to be the gluten-free pizza because it looked shitty. But then the pizza that little Dan got was actually looked really good for Manco and Mancos or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And
Boardwalk pizza.
$17 for that pizza.
$17? Wait,
yeah.
For a slice?
No. For the whole
It was
pizza.
like a personal pie?
It's like personal, yeah. It was like it wasn't like a personal pizza from what's that place called, Pizza Hut back in the day. They used to sell those.
Little 10-inch, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that. This was bigger and it looked better. I don't know if he ate the whole thing, but anyway, that's what it is. I treated them. I got to Venmo you for your meal. You never asked for money for it.
Yeah, I felt bad. It's fine. No big deal.
You felt bad. Okay. Anyway, that was the Frono's Photo Day at the ballpark, and
is this going to be an annual thing?
Yeah, we could anally do it every once in a while if you want.
Hey, whoa. Badonk? What?
We could do other stuff. It was fun. Did you have fun?
I had fun until I was sweating like crazy because it was, like I said, 87 degrees, barely any clouds. You were playing the cloud game, trying to guess how long the cloud cover would last. And it was like, 1 minute. This cloud's going to be a 2 minute.
That was a 2-minute cloud.
Yeah.
The cloud was great. Right now it's 67 degrees. It would have been a beautiful day at the ballpark.
Today would have been perfect. And of course they ended up losing, by the way, the one game we go to.
That's fine. I've seen plenty of wins this year. I love when the people in the stands are yelling. One, I love when they yell at professional athletes on the field who make great plays as if they've ever gotten off their ass to do anything, and they got to like yell at people. And then
they can clearly hear them too. They're not very far from where we were sitting.
They can clearly hear the assholes that were behind us. It wasn't us. Let's talk about my 4x5 project real quick. I went up into the outfield a couple of games ago, and I you know what happened before the game? I was actually debating taking my real camera, an R3 and a 400-2.8, just to change it up and, go and shoot. And then I was like, no, that's not the project I'm doing. I have no intention of, there's no reason for me to shoot the 400. That's just going to be button smashing. I'm not going to get anything that's going to be exciting to me.
Yeah.
And I forced myself to go and stay later into the game and use the 4x5 and go up into the stands and look for different angles.
Good.
Which I'm glad I did. I went up into far left field and set up, was trying to get some good pictures. Harper came up with I was doing the tilt thing. So tilt to give myself the tiny look, but just to get that sliver of focus.
Tilt shift,
and
yeah.
it's dark, so I'm shooting at 1/125th of a second, basically wide open at f2.5.
You only have the
camera.
one lens for that camera, right?
I only have the one lens.
Okay.
I'm really hesitant on buying another. There's another lens that I was offered that's like an 80-some millimeter, but it's the equivalent of like a 28. It's like a wide angle. I just don't.
Do you like forcing yourself to use just one? Is it more of a challenge?
Well, there's a uniqueness to this lens, whereas the other lenses are just generic. They're not. Yes, it's just a wide lens.
Okay. Snapshots.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't offer you the unique look of this lens. Maybe I should still get it if it can go onto my lens. It's that dilemma. It's like, when should I have this lens on? When should I have that lens on? It's even different with the 4x5 because you gotta change it up even more. But anyway, I have everything set. I've got my tripod set up. I've got things locked in. I discovered there's a lock switch on the tray for when you're zooming. So you're doing your focus that will tighten the focus ring and lock it basically. So I have that in effect. Harper comes up. I put this video up on Instagram because you can hear the crack of the bat and then me click the shutter fractions of a second after the crack of the bat. That's what I was going for, the right after the swing.
Because you want the swing and the ball in the air, right? That's
there's no way,
the shot you're
probably
going for.
Not going to get the ball. I'm not concerned about the ball.
You wait that long?
No, but I don't know where the ball is going to be. I'm sure the ball might be in the image that I got. It's just hard to find, especially when you're shooting at 1/125th of a second and the ball's going out at over 100 miles an hour. It's probably going to blend into the bokeh, most likely, or be a blur streak, which would be fine. But regardless, I wanted to wait for that backswing because I knew at 1/125th of a second, I'm not going to be able to freeze a swing. And so I knew that at the end of the backswing, it's the slowest portion of the swing.
Sure.
So I think I get it. These people next to me are like, "Did you get it?" Because they were asking me about the camera. And I was like, and I just looked at them. I shook my head because I was super
the look
calm
you
and
have
relaxed.
is so confident. You're like, yeah, I got it. Do you know who I am?
It's true.
So cocky.
That's not what it was, Steven. That wasn't
Watch
cockiness.
the video on his Instagram page and you'll know what I'm talking about.
That's not cockiness, Steven. I did it. I was in the right place. I made it happen.
Yeah, but it's you weren't like, I think I got it. You're like, yeah, I got it. I definitely got it.
Anyway, I process it. I can't tell anything on the negative. I come back, I scan it, and I see that the focus went to the dugout. It's on the first baseman. It's a little bit on the guy in the on-deck circle, and Harper's just a blur. He's just an out-of-focus blob.
Yeah.
The dugout's in focus.
And keep in mind, this was a home run hit as well.
Yes, it was a 3-run home run, and to get that is like meaningful because it puts more meaning behind the photo. It's not just a swing and a single or something.
Yep.
So I scanned it, I saw that, and I was trying to figure out what did I do wrong. And at first I thought maybe the focus slipped because the lens is heavy, it's tilted forward and down. But after thinking about it, I don't think that's the case. I think what the issue might be is that when I put the negative carrier into the back of the camera, it's not like a door opens and you slide it in. Now that would be so much easier if you switch a switch and then the back popped out and you would just slide it in. Mm-hmm. No, you have to lift up the ground glass, one edge of it. You have to start sliding in the negative carrier. Then you have to pull up the side of the other, and then pull up the side of the right, and then snap it in, and then pull the dark side, and then take the picture. All of this can jiggle the camera.
Yeah.
Which means if I'm off ever so slightly because the focus is so narrow and thin, that it's human error if I moved it. And so I'm thinking that that's what happened, is that I jiggled it somewhat, and the something rotated. The camera moved a fraction of a centimeter, and then that threw off the focus, which was disappointing. So the next game I go, I know that I have to leave for a friend's birthday dinner because the dinner's at 7:30, but I stay a little extra. I mean, I start up in that left field position, hoping that maybe the first at bat, Harper will do it again. Mm-hmm. He didn't. I moved my location because I don't want to stand there the whole game, and I know that I'm still visually trying to get other ideas for future games. I leave because it's like 7:45. I'm going to be late to dinner anyway, but I stayed a little extra for Schwarber and Harper to bat again, and nothing happened, and I left. And then I'm in the car and I get a text. Well, I listened to the game and I get a text from one of the photographers. He's like, "Don't fuck up." And what happened is I'm like 30 seconds behind because the broadcast is 30 seconds behind the reality.
Sure.
What happened is Harper was coming up. Basically, the guy before Harper got on base to load the bases. Then I get the text, "Don't fuck up," because he knows that what happened last time. I got the focus shifted, or the camera moved, and he's like, "Harper's, don't fuck up this time." And so I wasn't there. And so now I'm sitting in the car waiting for this to happen, hoping he doesn't hit a home run, but hoping that he gets a triple off the top of the wall.
Don't do
right?
it. Don't do it.
Don't hit a home run. Just get a triple. So it ends up being the third pitch. You hear the crack. The announcers are like, "Did he get it? He's going back. Hesitate because it landed in the seat that my brother was sitting at. Basically, the next game. Yes, he hits a grand slam. I'm there and I go, fuck.
You're in the parking lot at this point?
No, I'm already in the car getting on 95.
Okay, so you exited the state. Okay.
Yes, I was already gone. And he did that. So I didn't get it.
And you were in that spot like, what, minutes before?
Like 40 minutes before. I was not happy. I was quiet for a while because that's what happens. I get FOMO. I left, but it was predetermined that I was going to leave, but that doesn't make me any happier that I wasn't there.
Oh, I've got many text messages from you that night.
Yeah, that I fucked up. I should have been there, whatever. And so, but there's also no saying that I would have been in that position when he came up. Maybe I would have gone back knowing that he was, but there's also no knowing that he was coming up because at least three guys, I think there were 2 outs. So that means 7 people got him on base. 3 guys were on base. There were already 2 outs. So like 6 people already batted before him. So it was kind of unrealistic to think he would get up that soon again. So maybe I wouldn't be in that position. But it was also the third pitch. He swung at the second pitch and fouled it off. I would have taken a picture there. Then I would have had to pull that, rush to take another picture.
What is it, 20 seconds between pitches?
There's 20 seconds
on the
maximum clock between pitches
so
on the pitch clock.
10 seconds.
Could have been 10 seconds, could have been 12 seconds. I would have had to pop that out, put in another one, all without moving the camera, being concerned about that, and then get ready to pull the dark side to take the picture. I did screw up in the beginning of the day. Going back 1 second, is I took a picture during Harper's at bat, and he swung, boom, took a picture, put the slide back in, rotated it, put the other side in, pulled the dark side, realized I didn't cock the shutter again, which meant that the shutter was wide open, and that just let all the light in. So that one was burnt. I got it, put another one in, whatever. But anyway, I missed the home run. I wasn't there, but there's no saying that I would have gotten it.
Grand Slam.
Yes, this one was a grand slam, even better than the night before. He hit 3 home runs in 3 games. He hit 2 3-run home runs in a grand slam. Now they go on the road, and that's unfortunate, and I'll have to try again.
And I know how you get the FOMO, that loop in your head where you're just constantly thinking about it and kind of, getting angry and mad at yourself. I'm like trying to calm you down, but at the same time, I know you don't care about that at all. So you're texting me all this stuff and I'm like, I don't know. I guess he just wants to vent. I'm not even going to respond.
I just vent.
Because you're like, I should have been there. I should have.
Just reply and just be like, yeah, it fucking sucks. That's it.
He said, that's what happens if you don't commit to standing there the whole game waiting for the opportunity. I'm like, yeah, I know that's what happens. I didn't want to say that.
Well, that's me.
I know.
But I couldn't commit to the whole game because I was already going to go to my friend's birthday dinner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and then you get all these people like, friends are more important. I'm like, fuck that. Getting the picture is more important to me than anything else. Like, seriously.
That's good.
Seriously.
Good thing to say.
It is. I care more about myself than going to the dinner.
No.
I would have gotten there at some point. Yeah. No, it's because photography's life. Photography's life. Football's life.
Friends are life too.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Getting that picture is more important.
So how were you at the dinner is my question.
Quiet and contemplative.
Oh, I'm sure.
Upset.
I'm sure you were heated internally.
I wasn't heated. I was just upset. I was like your dad telling you he was disappointed at something.
Yep. I'm not mad. I'm just really disappointed.
Yeah, so I'm the one who gets upset the most at myself. And so when other people are like, friends are more important, I'm like, don't try to make me feel better. I don't need you to make me feel better.
A normal person I would try to make feel better. You, I just let you vent because I'm like, you're like, screw that. I don't need to hear that. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to be the friend here.
I need to process. I wouldn't have come to your dinner. No, I'm just kidding. I
know you. You would not.
I need to process my stuff my way. That's just how I process. I need to
Selfishly.
take care of it.
What?
Yes, my way. And I don't need other people being like, there will be other opportunities. You're doing great. I don't care that I'm doing great. I fucked up this one.
Do you want me to say it like it is? Like, do you want me to be a dick and be like, well, you should have been there. You messed up.
No, because I already know that for a fact.
I know. That's why I'm always like, I don't know what to say. Do I just let you keep texting me?
Just say you're right.
Yeah, but it's like you're looking for an answer.
I know.
And I'm trying to help you out. And meanwhile, I know you don't want to hear that. So I'm just like, I'm just going to not say anything.
So what I need to do...
Sucks. Shit happens. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
That's it. No. And I just need to not be in loops. And the thing is, when I start talking about stuff, it gets me into that loop.
Exactly.
I was already pissed off enough the first day when I got the out of focus thing, and then that just added more insult to injury.
And the fact that the guy said, don't fuck up.
No, that was fine. He didn't upset me. He didn't upset me at all.
Yeah, but it's like as you're in the car leaving, and he says that, and you're like, ah.
Well, because he was 30 seconds ahead. He knew what was coming up in terms of that Harper was coming up with a chance to do it. So, it is what it is.
Exactly. It is what it is.
No one's going to care. No one else fucking cares. I care. So
I was saying to you yesterday, like, it's not like it was bottom of the ninth. It was bases loaded, but tied up World Series, like, make or break. It's not a major game like that. So it wasn't that big of a deal at the end, but still was a grand slam.
It's just upsetting that I could have had it the first day and been done with that altogether and not had to try to get it again. And it just happened organically versus trying to force it another time.
And a grand slam's much different than a home run, though.
Yeah, but it was a 3-run home run the night before. Perfectly fine. It would have been still a great shot because it's still a 3-run home run. And I was there and I captured it with this old school camera.
How many grand slams has Harper had?
9.
Wow.
8 or 9. And the 2 of them have come on May 7th.
Oh.
One was yesterday May 8th. May 8th. Oh, he said 8.
8 grand
I think
slams.
2 of them happened on May 8th.
So next year, make sure you're there in that spot.
I was listening on the radio and they bring up facts like that. I get in those loops and I just need to stop talking about it and then I'll be fine. So anyway, that's it. I'll try again on the next homestand to figure out what to do. I did develop some stuff that I'm gonna scan right after we're done here, and I'm still happy with the results that I'm getting. It's getting a little more monotonous and repetitive in the field. Looking for things. There's only so much you can do. So like you start burning shots, trying to make something happen,
trying to be different,
like getting something. So I'm just trying to take a step back. I still have to try and get the portraits. I got a Vladimir Guerrero portrait the other day. Not sure it's great because it's not super tight. He didn't have a lot of time. Plus, they're not wearing jerseys. They're just wearing warm-up stuff. It's not the same. But I got Larry Boa on the field. He's an ex-Philly, well-known in Philly.
Well, I know you were talking to me yesterday about possibly switching focus on like some of the concession stand workers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just going around the stadium and getting more of the lifestyle portraits of...
Not the concession stand workers, the people that are the people that sell concessions in the stands.
I mean, it's same thing, but...
I guess it's the same thing. I don't mean the people behind the counter. I mean the people that go into the crowd. But anyway, yeah, so some of the other ideas is going into the stands and finding these beer sellers or the popcorn people.
You could have got the guy that was saying I shoot raw yesterday. He would
have looked funny. He wouldn't have stood still. He would have been like, I'm not going to stand still. Hey, I shoot raw.
He was clearly on something, I think.
Yeah.
He was an oddball, for sure.
He's an oddball. Okay, let's move on to this breaking news from Canon that they put out the other day where they showed a picture of a kid. And what happened, Steven? What did the rumor websites all do?
The R5 II is coming out. Canon just teased the announcement.
When has Canon ever teased an announcement?
I don't think they do. They put out development announcements, but I don't think they've ever been like, here's an announcement for an announcement coming up.
No, they've done development announcements, which is not a tease. That's an official development announcement. This, they put out a picture and teased a certain date that something was coming, which might not be the smartest thing to do when everybody's thinking that a new camera is coming.
When the rumor mill is spinning and everyone's saying the R5 II is right around the corner and the R1 and the Olympics are coming up, it's not the best timing for sure.
So what were the rumor sites saying? Because like multiple rumor sites were like going all in on this.
Well, it did not help that Canon or whoever was behind the social media team happened to black out the strap. It said EOS 7D. They photoshopped that out. Then they also took out all the lens markings. So it was basically a blank lens and a blank strap. And, you know, to the average person, you could be like, oh, that's clearly a camera that they don't want to say what it is, or a lens they don't want to say what it is. Is that a 3514L RF that they've been rumoring for the longest time? Is that the R5 II? Because you couldn't see the actual camera that the kid was holding up. And keep that in mind, it was a kid holding up the camera.
So how do you end up knowing that it said 7D on the strap if it was blacked out?
So Canon posted one image where they photoshopped all the markings out, but the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, which that picture was a part of, posted the same exact picture, but for some odd reason, their strap was not blacked out and it said EOS 7D. I don't know why. I don't know where the miscommunication happened. The lens markings were also removed on that picture, but not the strap itself. Let me just explain what the picture looked like. It basically was a kid in a hospital gown holding up a camera with a bandage around his arm, and in the background, you have like a DJ, and on the wall it says the Ryan Seacrest Foundation with balloons and everything. And if you do a quick Google search, you find out that the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, it's a creative outlet for kids in hospitals, and they have these Ryan Seacrest Foundation studios in about 14 different hospitals around the nation. It's fun to photographer, but for sick children.
He stole it from me. I'm bigger than Ryan Seacrest.
I think he looked up Jared Polin and was like, you know what, I'm gonna do exactly that, but with sick kids.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization. So here is officially what happened, and Canon put out a press release. Canon is providing digital imaging equipment to the Ryan Seacrest Foundation's Seacrest Studios in pediatric hospitals throughout the United States. The Ryan Seacrest Foundation, RSF, is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to inspiring today's youth through entertainment and education-focused initiatives. RSF's primary initiative is to build broadcast media centers named Seacrest Studios within pediatric hospitals for patients to explore the creative realms of radio, television, and new media.
RTF.
Can we drop the stupid term new media? All things that we don't know yet, but whatever's new and exciting. It's like multimedia forever was the thing.
I mean, it still should be the thing.
What, multimedia?
All-encompassing, cover everything. Yes, because radio and television, in my opinion, RTF, radio, television, film, I think that is kind of out the window at this point. I don't think there's a lot of people going for an RTF degree.
No.
Now.
Just RBF. Resting bitch face, Stephen. There's a lot of people have resting. I have RBF.
Yes, you do.
The foundation currently has 14 Seacrest studios in pediatric hospitals nationwide. The foundation operates opened 3 studios last year, including a studio at Cohen Children's Medical Center in Queens, New York. They sound Jewish. A short distance from Canon USA's North American headquarters in Melville. The grand opening event is in September, whatever. So here's the equipment that they gave. Now, this is better than the Fun to Photographer equipment that we got. Mind you, we got some great Fun to Photographer equipment. The Canon equipment provided to the studios will support the patient's creative abilities to help to produce content that will be shared throughout the Seacrest Studio Network, meaning 13 people will see it because it's going to go to the 13 studios. Canon cameras and lens equipment provided to the studio include Canon EOS R full-frame mirrorless cameras such as the R3, the R5, the R6 Mark II, R7, high-end Canon RFL series lenses such as the 28-70 f2, 15-35 2.8, RF 70 to 200 2.8, and in addition to that, Canon provide printing solutions to the studios, including Megatank desktop printers, which aren't the same as the Pro 1000 that I print, Selfie wireless compact photo printers, and Ivy click camera and mini photo printers. That's what they gave the Seacrest things for. That's
what they teased on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it these days.
I'm not sure why
everybody jumped the gun.
Like, why would you like, this is not massive news.
And they put like the whole like eye emoji and like major announcement next week. Really? Like, you're going to tease this?
What's an eye emoji? Someone crying?
The eyes looking to the left emoji, like something's coming.
Oh. It's an awesome initiative. I just don't know that they put out these press releases. We're talking about it. I want to get involved. I told them that I want to go to there's one in Philly, I guess. I'll go teach kids.
We specifically reached out, and I think they're going to try to make that happen. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll go to all 13. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of the Ryan Seacrest network because I want to be the next American Idol.
I mean, it's kind of part of the whole Fun to Photographer thing going on. So it really works out. It's all tied together hand in hand.
Yeah, so I want to do that, but good on Canon for participating in this, and it's a nice little foundation that Seacrest has, and Dunkelman doesn't have anything like this at all.
What's Dunkelman?
Exactly. First year of American Idol, it was Seacrest and Dunkelman were the two people on air.
Oh, the hosts?
They ended up firing Dunkelman. Though Dunkelman says that he left, they actually thought that Seacrest was better.
I mean, Ryan Seacrest, man, the amount of money he has now, he does everything.
Yeah, he's the modern day Dick Clark.
He really is. He is, yeah.
Just hope he doesn't have the same ending as Dick Clark, because you don't want to have him counting after he had a stroke, because that was no good. Too soon?
Just wrapping it up, it again, you can't trust rumor websites all the time. You got to take it with a grain of salt, because there's stuff like this that they're just simply making an announcement about helping out a nonprofit, and people are jumping the gun thinking it's going to be an R52 with 3514.
Now, speaking of fun to photography type things, I am going to Allen's Camera on May 18th. It's a Saturday. It's for Allen's Palooza. That's not called Allen's Palooza. It's their whatever customer appreciation event, where there's a ton of trade-in things. Like if you trade in cameras for cash, you can get cash while you're there, or you can get 10% extra in your trade-in if you take store credit and then go ahead and use it in the store. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be sensor cleanings. Be there early if you want to do sensor cleanings. I might be funding a photographer depending on what happens.
Ooh.
There's no guarantee to that.
Can I show up then and maybe get some free gear?
I mean, I don't know if you're showing up. I'm going to have to leave early.
I'm in need now. I don't have a 5D Mark IV anymore.
Well, I'm going to have to leave earlier because there is a Phillies game that night, and I'm probably going to want to go to it. And so the event is 10 to 4. I need to probably leave. Oh, man, if I leave at 2 o'clock, that's probably good enough for everything. But I'll be there at 10 in the morning. I'm going to be there early. I'm going to get there when I need to get there, but I'm not going to stay the whole time because I got to get to the shoot. But I might bring some fun day photographer stuff, and depends, for the right people, I might do something.
Brandon from Allen's Camera was actually with us at the Phillies game yesterday, and I believe he was saying that the taco truck was going to have 200 tacos or something.
200 tacos.
Oof.
Nothing vegetarian or vegan, because no one cares about those people.
Didn't Dan ask that? And he's like,
of course Dan did.
I meant to ask Brandon, by the way, who made this name up? Multi-Vendor Customer Appreciation Day. You couldn't have been a little more creative.
What's the acronym to that?
MVCAD.
Mvgadad. This rolls off the tongue like Allen's a Palooza. Anyway, that event should be fun.
Remember, you guys used to do RAWtalk Live there.
We recorded one there. I had Alan there. Alan was still alive. I had Alan sit in.
Yep.
That was really good. That was a long time. He's been dead for 10 years.
Yeah, 9-10 years ago for sure.
Long freaking time. Mm-hmm. You want to move on to our big story?
Breaking news.
Big story. Well, there's actually no breaking news. Actually,
no, not at all.
Should we check the news site and see if anything has happened? Nope, no news this week. It is a very slow news week, which is probably why...
Very slow news month or two. I mean, there's
no
gear. There's really nothing to talk about when it comes to photography in terms of gear and new products.
Yeah, so the Met Gala took place the other day. I know nothing about the Met Gala other than people dress up like fucking morons.
Gala.
Sorry, gala. They dress up in these dresses. It's the biggest night to dress up, and fashionistas think it's the greatest thing ever, and it's going to save the world because who are you wearing? I guess that's what what's his name put a. What is that movie? When he puts the guy around his shoulders because he's wearing a fur coat. It's Pet Detective version 2.
Oh, Ace Ventura?
Yeah, Ace Ventura is just like, oh, look at me, I'm wearing a human. The monocle man. Anyway, so let's read this article from DIY Photography. It's Met Gala photographers spark outrage after racist jokes about a K-pop band. Let's see. The 2024 Met Gala was supposed to be a night of high fashion and celebrity glamour, but for K-pop group Stray Kids, it turned sour thanks to insensitive and racist behavior from photographers. Fans erupted online after a TikTok video captured the disrespectful treatment the 8-member group received on the red carpet. First off, how do you have 8 members in a band? No one's going to make any money.
Yeah.
You want to talk about shitty.
Yeah, but the point is you start the band like One Direction, and then you all break up and you go your separate solo careers, and then you
go One Direction.
You make all the money.
You each go 5 seconds of summer. Anyway, so here it goes. Clad in navy blue coats, Stray Kids made a grand entrance. Have you ever heard of Stray Kids?
The only K-pop band I know is BTS. I don't follow that genre at all.
Aren't they One Direction?
What?
Isn't that One Direction?
BTS?
They're not a K-pop band?
No, One Direction is like a British pop band.
Oh, I don't have any kids to know this stuff. Stray Kids made a grand entrance only to be met with comments like, I've never seen so many unemotional faces in my life, and they're robots. This blatant stereotype sparked immediate outrage. But wait, there's more. When the band members revealed their coordinated Tommy Hilfiger suits, photographers complained, we gotta do it again? You can hear one of them yelling, now let's do it with feeling. One photographer even asked a colleague, how do you say right in Korean? Thinking he was totally hilarious. Someone responded, arigato, making the situation even more cringe-worthy. Couldn't they just say cringe? Because that's what the kids say today. As the band walked away, photographers commented that fans would be confused. Photographers commented that fans would confuse the group with two separate bands due to the coat removal, a racist stereotype implying Asian people look alike. First off, that's a fucking stupid jump to conclusion to get to. The reason the photographer would say that people are going to be confused is that in the first set of pictures they took, they were wearing whatever they wore. And in the second set of pictures, they looked totally different because they were wearing something totally different.
Crazy.
They didn't say that all Asians look the same. That's not what they were saying. Asian people look alike is what they were going for. That isn't what the photographer was saying. There's no way in hell. And the other stuff that they said, like, how do you say right in Korean? That's just something stupid to say.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the arigato thing's a little ignorant for them to say, but
sure.
I think them saying, they're robots, they're unemotional, that's just them trying to get a smile out of them,
What did our favorite photographer, Dick Wiener, what's his name? Steve Wiener? Scott Wiener. What did Scott Wiener always do when a band would just stand there? Two things.
He would say jump and then peace sign, right?
He would say, give me the peace sign.
Yeah.
Or he would say, can you guys jump? And most of the people would look at him and be like, are you fucking kidding me? Do we look like what, Dance Monkey?
Exactly.
Dance Monkey.
But if you remember the one paparazzo that would come to the studio and take pictures that eventually got banned.
He was there at the Phillies game the other day.
Oh, I believe it. Now, he's the cliche epitome dickhead, paparazzo. He will say the worst shit to their face to try and get a rise out of them or a picture or whatever it may be. I think these guys, it seems like, the quotes here, just saying again, they're robots, they're unemotional, like trying to get a smile, we got to do it again. I think that's just being a photographer trying to get a decent picture out of someone.
I've never seen so many unemotional faces in my life. Okay, that's the same if anybody stands there unemotional. They look like fucking robots. What do we call band members that stand on stage? Shoegazers.
Yeah.
They're just ones who stand there with no emotion, which I would sit there and be like, can you fucking do something? Dance Monkey.
I mean, if you look at the pictures, they are very straight-faced the entire time, and
it's legitimate. They are standing there without emotion. They are unemotional. They're emotionless. And so a photographer's job is trying to elicit some sort of smile, a smirk, anything, point at us, give us the finger. That's what they're trying to do. There is no racist intentions by saying they look like robots, and it's going to be hard to tell that this isn't two bands. One, I had no idea. I wouldn't know BTS from Stray Kids if they were walking down the street to 7 Days of Summer or 5 Seconds of Summer to anybody. I mean, I'd know 5 Seconds of Summer isn't an Asian band, so I would know that much, but I wouldn't know the difference if these people walk down the street.
Yeah. Not at all.
It's just like, this is just like people looking for issues where there are no issues.
Exactly.
And being so overly sensitive that today has raised a bunch of fucking pussies. And I'm taking the term pussies back. Scared cats.
Here we go.
Scaredy cats. Not stray cats. Wait, these are the stray kids, not stray cats. The stray cats was a good, like Cherry Poppin' Daddy, right? Remember Cherry Poppin' Daddy?
No.
Big band music. You don't remember Cherry Popping Daddy?
I do not remember Cherry Poppin' Daddy.
I hope this doesn't come up with porn. Popping Daddy. Song. Cherry Popping Daddy song. Yeah. Zoot Suit. Oh, wait. Yeah, are they Zoot Suit Riot or is that another band? No, that is Cherry Poppin' Daddy, is Zoot Suit Riot, song by Cherry Poppin' Daddies. Zoot Suit Riot.
Oh, I know that song, yeah.
Throw
So
back
they're like a
bottle
one-hit
of
wonder.
beer, bottle of beer. Zoot Suit Riot. Riot. Gonna get another beer. And wasn't their lead singer named, what was his name? Zoot Suit Riot was ska
Steve
band.
Perry.
Oh, really? Steve Perry? No. Well, I was thinking of the Brian Setzer Orchestra. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Brian Setzer Orchestra. He was another swing band. Man, I'm just confusing my swing band and ska bands. They all look alike with their fucking trumpets. That's right, Jared. They all look alike with their trumpets. I just got to keep throwing Mickey in there.
With ska bands, you got a two-step, though, or skank, or whatever they call it.
What? How do you two-step? What's that?
It's like picking up change, and you're kind of doing like a little mosh pit.
Oh.
That's the whole ska movement. It's so
ska
dumb.
was so bad, but so good. It was so poppy. It was Cherry Poppin' Daddy. God, it was good. So yeah, let me come back to me talking about kids being pussies today. They are so overly sensitive, not just kids, but adults like Gen Z and millennials and Gen Y have raised a bunch. Well, actually, we were raised by our parents. I'm certainly not a pussy that's super sensitive because that wasn't going to happen with my dad. You know, you couldn't be sensitive in that household. If you were overly sensitive, holy shit. I don't think anything would have, I don't think I would have survived in that. It's just, not everything is a slight. And not everything is meant to be. Yes, you can say dumb things, and yes, you can say insensitive things.
Oh yeah, you could be an asshole. You could be a dick. You can
unintended. Like I read this article thinking I was going to read something that someone said that was blatant racism or stereotyping. But when I read what was taken out of context, I could tell you for a fact those things not. Can you say insensitive dumb shit? Like how do you say right in Korean? Like I don't even know what right meant. Like what are you trying to get at?
yeah,
like, right, like
that
let's do it
line's
again.
a little, yeah, an arigato thing.
But the whole thing that's really, really stupid. Should we read what Petapixel had to say, because they always are good for some good stuff.
Sure.
Let's see what their article said. Who wrote their article? Matt Grokut, who's also the same one who put up that other article that they had to take down that had the thing written on the person's forehead that was even worse than anything. Petapixel says paparazzi photographers camped out on the red carpet of the Met Gala have been slammed for their treatment of K-pop band Stray Kids. Still don't know Stray Kids. Still don't know what they look like or sound like. During the glitzy event that took place on Monday, the 8-member boy band lined up for the cameras while photographers blah, blah. I've never seen so many. Anyway, they basically say the same thing. I don't need to read this. But the people on Twitter were like, this racism and disrespect is disgusting, but unfortunately not surprising. The reason many of us who cover K-pop are fiercely protective of these artists is because this happens at most American red carpet events. They deserve much better. I'm legit so mad at these paparazzis. That stupid and racist that stupid and racist question mark. Who let them in, for fuck's sake, is what someone said. It's just, stop being so sensitive.
Yeah, and then in the Petapixel comment section, people are kind of questioning the same thing. What exactly was racist? Just as the term continues to lose all meaning, ... And then someone put, paparazzi photographers have known to be offensive, and there's a method to the madness, which is to elicit a response, even one of anger and disgust, to get an expression for an image to sell to the newspapers. I completely agree on this.
Oh, you agree that happens. You don't agree that it's a good thing to do.
No. I agree
that
definitely happens. He goes on to say, anyone who has covered the paparazzi pursuit of Princess Diana will understand this. Photographers deliberately say rude and often sexist remarks to
They're
get
assholes.
her to emote. I'm so glad I never went down this route.
I speak up at those things, and I've told that story about the Sony event where I should have spoken up, which I didn't, at that famous photographer who said that stupid thing, the way he treated that model. Yeah. I should have spoken up in front of everybody. Yeah. He was just really being an asshole in that situation. But I will speak up. I got nothing to lose. I know other people are afraid to speak up because they're doing their job and like they might ruffle some feathers. I got nothing to lose at these events. Like, don't treat people like shit. Don't disrespect them. Don't disrespect me. That's why I don't like paparazzis or paparazzos or any of them, because not any of them. I don't hate all of them. There's certain guys that have made a career. My buddy Jeff Kravitz he started something called Film Magic back in the day, where he would shoot. He was there at the Met Gala. He shoots all these red carpet events. He sold to Getty a bunch of years ago. The difference with him is that celebrities will call him to bring him in to do shoots, not fake shoots, but they'll call him because they trust and respect him, because he doesn't do any of that underhanded bullshit. I hate underhanded bullshit, just trying to elicit a response by saying something fucking stupid and disrespectful.
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch Teenage Paparazzo. It's a documentary from like 2010. I think Adrian Grenier from Entourage fame put it together.
That kid, it was like a young photographer.
Yeah, he followed around like a 13, 14-year-old photographer that just started taking pictures of celebrities and eventually became a legit paparazzo and made a ton of money and started going down that rabbit hole of, turning into like a dickhead photographer, screaming things at celebrities, stuff like that. And it shows the whole behind the scenes, that whole industry of paparazzi around the LA world. But it's a really good documentary that takes you inside that world.
Yeah, it's just such a stretch at this point that the term is thrown around so easily today, and then people get offended by every little fucking thing. Stop being offended. Grow a pair of whatever, because people get offended when you say grow a pair, right?
That's offensive.
People get offended at that. People say you can't use the term pussy. Stop being a pussy anymore, because they say that is
it's all offensive.
That female parts are strong, when in fact the term "don't be a pussycat" or "don't be a pussy" comes from being a scaredy cat. When you were a kid, they're like, "Don't be a pussy." And what did that mean? It didn't mean don't be a vagina. It meant don't be a cat who's scared. That's what a pussy is. I just wanted to say pussy in that context, Stephen. Wait, you could say pussy coming out of his mouth, but I can't say that? That's from... oh, no, you can't say big cock coming out of his mouth, but you could say pussy willow? It's a Howard Stern Private Parts movie reference. We're going to wrap it up, Stephen.
Let's do it.
We're going to wrap it up. We hope to have more photo news coming. It's been a super slow month for news.
It really
because not much has come out in the last little while, but it's got to be the calm before the storm.
I mean,
there's got to be stuff.
We're expecting a lot of refreshes on cameras. It's 3-4 years in on certain cameras, and the Olympics are around the corner. So I think something's going to happen soon. Hopefully.
Something's got to give.
Yeah.
Something's got to give. Hey, I'm going to go photograph a K-pop band tonight, Steven.
Make sure to yell at them.
I'm going to be like, yeah, you guys look like robots. Because you have no emotion.
Emote, please.
Please do something.
Peace sign, jump, do something.
Well, telling someone to jump and give the peace sign is terrible.
He did a whole series around people like jumping, and it's just like, why though? I don't really consider him like a straight up paparazzo though.
He's halfway there.
He's on the edge for sure.
He was the 80s guy who in the 80s they would bring like
he's more of a media press photographer, but kind of goes down that whole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely lived in that world. Mm-hmm. Care about like, I got to get the picture so I can sell it, like that other guy.
And they're just snapshots. They're here's a step and repeat with a logo behind it, and take a quick flash. That's it. Smile.
Yeah. Moral of the story, don't be an asshole. And if someone says something that is legitimately out of line, quick story here. I was at a hockey tryout, and they took us all to lunch, and this was for an adult thing. And the coach, who I didn't know at all, and he didn't know the 60 people fully there, said some really dumb shit while he was talking. He said something along the lines of, yellow people, and he was referring to like Native Americans. And I sat there, and you want to talk about speaking up? I sat there, and we're there. He said this thing. It was not like the first dumb thing that he said. And I just shot up, and I was like, you can't say that. You can't say what you just said. That's just stupid. He's like, oh, are you the PC police? Are you going to be that guy? I'm like, are you going to be that asshole who thinks that is okay to say? Yeah. I'm like, he's like, I'm like, I'm the least sensitive person in the world, right? I can handle shit. But when you say something really fucking dumb and out of hand and nobody here is going to speak up, I'm going to tell you that that's fucking stupid to say, even in a joking context, in front of 60 people that you don't know. To say like, oh, they're yellow people, yellow skin, yellow people. It's like, yeah, that's a little fucking stupid. And then on the bench during the game, during a tryout, he said to the guy, "Looks like you're sucking dick," because the guy was trying to breathe on the bench. And I'm like, dude. And I said, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with if you're into that, if that's what you want to do.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But shit, I get it in a team context when you know everybody. And they take the joke.
Well, or like close friends or something like that, breaking balls. I get that, but
yes,
you
correct.
Can't say that yeah.
But in an environment where you don't know everybody yet,
exactly,
you probably shouldn't say that right then and there. So I'm a fan of speaking up and just calling someone out when you need to call them out. Because again, I didn't care if I got kicked out. I didn't care. I didn't actually enjoy being there in the first place, and that was just terrible. I tend to speak up if I need to. Yeah. And have no shame in that game. So.
I just don't understand how this is going around the photographic community and people are calling it out. It's like, really?
There's no news, Steven.
No
they're pulling at
that is
straws.
true. It is a light news week, so maybe that is why.
Petapixel in the last 2 years has started to go down the route of let's just put up a lot of stupid stories like person dies taking a selfie. Or a security footage captured this. Like, no one cares about those stories. That's just blatant trying to get SEO.
Even what was the one where it was them talking about like the Trump documents in the bathroom ripped up in a toilet and calling it photo news because it was a picture of the toilet. And it's like, how does this relate to photography at all?
It's almost like paparazzi website. It's almost going down the TMZ rabbit hole when they call certain things out that bring up just that just shouldn't be on a photo. Now, again, it's not my website, so they can do whatever they want. But I just feel that the Petapixel used to be better. They used to focus on like 3 stories a day that were quality, and then they've gone the route of F-stoppers, which F-stoppers, if you look at F-stoppers, which came around in 2010, it started about 6 months before I started Frono's Photo. You look at every story, there's 0 to 1 comment on every story. So people don't pay attention to F-stoppers because all they do is regurgitate information from someone else and rarely do
original content,
custom original content, which is what they originally did. They built a massive following, massive amount of traffic, sold a shit ton of stuff.
They really don't do a lot of videos anymore either.
No, they rarely do stuff. They just occasionally do it while they're sitting there in Puerto Rico where they don't pay taxes on their money.
Man, the amount they're saving. Oh.
They're if they stay there for 10 years, probably saving well over $1 million plus dollars just by staying over there. But as they've talked about on their page, it's not all roses and rainbows and butterflies living there because the power goes out.
Sure.
It's not, whatever. Okay, you could text us your thoughts on how racist we were this week at 313-710-9729. Please call us out for being no, don't call us out. We whatever.
Privileged white guys.
Privileged white guy. Yeah. You got anything else to say before we go?
No, that's it.
Any questions for Mickey?
I got no questions for Mickey.
All right, good. Guys, this is episode 101 of Frono's Photo RAWtalk. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.
Bye.